Here is a story about a remarkable woman named Sara who as a young and sweet 14-year-old had been brutally and forcefully imprisoned, along with the rest of her loving family, in the horrible nightmare of a Nazi Germany concentration camp.
So I born in Czechoslovakia, Warsaw. My late parents was very religious, and I was brought up like a queen, because I have three brothers, and I was just only one daughter. And till 14 years I was spoiled very much. I had a life like no many kids in Czechoslovakia. But at 14-year-old, everything was over. Then I went to concentration camp, I went to the jail, I went everywhere because I was Jewish. That's it. As a Jewish girl, I had suffered very much so. And 14-year-old, I couldn't go anymore to school because I was Jewish. The day when we was forced to go out, 2 hours, he given, what you could take, you take, because he was beloved in this city, in this town. And I remember my father was standing in this so-called synagogue, a temple, and he was holding his Torah. And I know he was praying. He put it down, closed the door, and we left. And we came to Hungary. They let us in, and they put us to a warehouse, the whole family, my parents, my brothers, my little niece, my daughter-in-law, my sister-in-law. And we was, for a time being, the Jewish community in Hungary was also limited, but they give us some food because we suffered very much so. We were sleeping all in this warehouse. The Jewish community rent us an apartment, and we was living there till they took us from in Hungary was already. They took us to Budapest to the internal Tabor. This was a jail where the people, we was there almost 4 years. After the prison, the Jewish committee from Rimavska Sobota, Rimasombat, they took us back. First we went to Arena Isabella to a Jewish prison. Was already a little bit more better because we had already I was with my mother. We saw our brother every day, and from this place they took us back. Also, the Jewish community sent us back to Rimavska Sobota, Rimasombat.
Joseph Mengele, one of the most despicable and evil creatures that ever existed, led the murders in her camp. One day he came into her barracks and asked for 5 volunteers with nursing training. Sara raised her hand, although she had never had such training, and she was chosen. Within days, she was putting dead bodies on piles, people who were killed as the subject of deadly so-called scientific experiments led by Mengele and others.
This was a terrible situation in the barrack. That's why I chose to go to be a nurse, because anyways I couldn't take it, no there, no there. So Dr. Mengele was a terrible guy. He was over 6 feet, beautiful man, but sadistic his eyes.
The Nazi medical experiments were an example of sheer sadism, for in the use of concentration camp inmates and prisoners of war as human guinea pigs, very little, if any, benefit to science was achieved. It is a tale of horror of which the German medical profession cannot be proud. Although the so-called experiments were conducted by fewer than 200 murderous quacks, albeit some of them held eminent posts in the medical world, their criminal work was known to thousands of leading physicians of the Reich. Not a single one of them, so far as the record shows, ever uttered the slightest public protest.
So what I have to do, what we have to do, the diet people, they came a big truck. We have to take one nurse 2 legs and one nurse 2 hands, 1, 2, 3, straw on the wagon. This was our straw. The first time I made it, I was thinking I die, but I don't. I am here. So later on was already like routine. Getting used to it, the broom in the bread made us like we was like a robot, you know.
For years, she suffered through the unbearable torture of the camps and witnessed untold numbers of innocent people die in the most tragic way possible. So many beautiful souls were wiped out, and so many families destroyed and forever torn apart. There may never be an answer for the tragedy. By some unknown twist of fate, she eventually survived after being moved from one devastating and humiliating situation to another. William Shirer, who wrote The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, A History of Nazi Germany, stated the Third Reich, which was born on January 30th, 1933, Hitler boasted, would endure for 1,000 years, and in Nazi parlance it was often referred to as the 1,000-Year Reich. It lasted 12 years and 4 months, but in that flicker of time, as history goes, it caused an eruption on this earth more violent and shattering than any previously experienced, raising the German people to heights of power they had not known in more than a millennium, making them at one time the masters of Europe from the Atlantic to the Volga, from the North Cape to the Mediterranean, and then plunging them to the depths of destruction and desolation at the end of a world war which their nation had cold-bloodedly provoked, and during which it instituted a reign of terror over the conquered peoples, which, in its calculated butchery of human life and the human spirit, outdid all the savage oppressions of the previous ages.
Every day if somebody came home who was in life, yeah? With the train, I told you the train was not exactly for us, but we went in like hitchhiking, yeah? So I said, nobody came home. So I started to go to the train station. Maybe I want to find. Also somebody came. And my husband, my late husband, came home. He was also not home. And you see, finally, he was like sister and brother. He had also lost his mother. And I lost everybody. He was very good to me. He was nothing to me like a brother. He was so honest with me. He was so sorry with me. And he had to go, he was 21 already. He had to go, we went back to Czechoslovakia, yeah? He had to go back to army. He said, I'm not going to go to army here. I'm going to Israel. I came with my husband. He was so good to me. He was never talking about marriage. It was not like today, right away go to bed. You know, it was different story. Anyways, I feel if I'm not going to marry the son from the two brothers, then I have no place over there. So I give a letter for my husband and read it. So I propose him in the wedding. So I'm not lying. So he told me, we went he was reading the letter, and we went to a park, sitting, and he said, listen, like he was assured by a very smart guy. He said, listen, I know you could marry better, but I love you very much. I'm going to suffer, but I tell you again, I have nothing. I have nothing. I said, I don't care. I want to go out from here. So May 8th, Lag Bomer, he would be 65 years. He was so good to me. He was so good. He was a good father, a good grandfather. Passed 8 years ago, passed away. He was in Florida. It was everything good, and then we have a place. It was the weekend, we went to the kids, we went to Holocaust Center, was a dinner, and he told me, Shari, I don't feel well. Hodgkin lymphoma, and he passed away. We went home, and that's my story. And now I have beautiful kids, beautiful grandchildren, and that's my whole life.
Here is Sara, surrounded by family and loved ones, celebrating the bar mitzvah of one of her grandsons, a Jewish rite of passage to enter manhood. Sara's husband, also a Holocaust survivor, is now gone. Most of Sara's family were murdered all those years ago by the Nazis. Why has Sara lived and thrived and helped create such beauty in the world? No one knows. But no family member at this wonderful event would have been there if Sara and her husband had not somehow survived the agony of the concentration camps and finally made it to North America to start a new life.